We're going to talk about planning of farmstead and farm residences. Farmers in India usually lived in villages, and this was so because for the mutual protection and the social life, and also for the services available at a common point. And this may be also due to for getting access to the common water resource. But in doing so, farmers are been staying away from their land, and they are not having an control over the farm, and also it puts them far away from their crops, and proper management cannot be taken. For the reason for living in villages may be also because of fragmented land pieces, but this is not the case in the present scenario. Nowadays, farmers are willing to stay at their farm and in a suitable residences. In the present scenario, villages have greater accessible for the outer world. This is because of the modernization in villages, and also in the improved mechanical ways, so in transportation, etc. This puts villagers directly in contact with the urban areas, with having a proper roads either connecting for a state highways or else national highways. In general, the new villages are which are being constructed are but better connectivity in roads, water supply, and also in social well-being, and also for and this is also depending upon wind, rain, and flood situations, where the location of the village is selected upon. And the other reason for location of the villages may be availability, location near to the grazing fields, so that the animal rearing can be done in an easy way. In the modern times, the farmers preferring to be staying on their own fields, as this trend has been increased in the nowadays because of the modernization of agriculture, and also the availability of mechanized farming and the machineries, modern machineries available, such as tractors and combine harvesters, etc. Due to availability of such mechanized or else modern machineries, the farmers are willing to stay back at their farm for having greater control over their farm, to have a better crop. This settlement may not be as these settlements may not be as equivalent to those this settlement may not be equal to as those of settlements in Western countries, but the trend is picking up in the recent days. For this, designing of a suitable farmstead is essential. In designing of a farmstead, the planning of the location of the farmstead is of an important criteria. For the location of the farmstead should be such that it facilitates in the management point of view a better hold for us, better hold on a farm, and it should be also socially and economically feasible for the farmer. In the management point of view, a farmstead should be located at the center of the farm, and or else in the middle in the long side of the farm, so as to have a greater control over his farm. But this is not feasible if farm workers are also not residing along the this is not feasible if the farm laborers are not residing near to the farmhouse, and the farm hence the farm shed may be fall under isolation. The second is in the second point, the farm location can be at the corner or else at the edge of the farm, where a suitable road is located, so as to have ensure greater accessibility, or else to procure farm supplies is made possible, easily possible, and also to dispose the farm produce from the field. So hence the location if the location of farm shed is at corner of the farm where where the road connectivity is high, connectivity is there. So this kind of location helps the farmer to have greater access to his farm and also the outside, and he can procure any farm supplies he needs for his farm, and also he can dispose the whatever produce has been produced in the particular farm. In the next thing is like in the third step, we can the location of a farm should be in an elevated area with the natural drainage. This will accommodate the easy flow of and this will accommodate that he will be having a greater access to his farm, and also it will prevent him prevent him losses in condition of flood or something due to the location, as the location of the farm shed is at the higher elevation point of the farm. And another criteria is that the farm shed may be located should be located at a permanent water source, or else existing well can be taken in account when locating a suitable farm site, because water is one of the important criteria for any living organisms to exist. Hence, if a farm shed is located near to a permanent water resource, then you will be having a minimum time in accessing the water, and hence it provides much more advantage over other things. And finally, a farm shed can also be located near the farm site can also be selected where trees are around it, such that the trees will act as a barrier and protective agent when from the high velocity winds and also from the dust storms, where and also it provides shade for human and animals. Hence these kind of selections are taken into account. Now let's recall the main criteria for location of the farm shed. The location of farm shed should be, from the management point of view, it should be in the center of the farm, or else in the middle, or else in the middle of the long side of the farm. And this condition is suitable if near the farmhouse, or else may be seen. And the second is it should be at the corner of the farm. It should be located in elevated, also provide shade for human and animal. The next thing is size and arrangement of the farm shed. Farm shed includes various farm buildings such as farm residences, animal housings for poultry or else cattle, and also it includes storage structures and roads, etc. And all these farm structures should be 3 to 5% of the farm area, and care should be taken such that all these structures are grouped together such that the time required to move from one housing to another is minimized. And also the other important criteria are the residential building should be far enough from the animal housing. This has to be ensured because of the nuisance created, and the pests and flies can be eliminated, because farm residence is not merely a place for living, it is also the place for farmer for having his social life, and thus ensuring privacy, and also can having a better comfort in living in a farmhouse, because the farmer will be living along with his family and for over a long period, and to ensure the quality life, these things has to be planned accordingly. So a farmhouse should never be kept along with the animal housing so as to prevent flies and also nuisance created from them. And the silo pits and fodder storage area should be near to the animal housing. This has to be done so that as to ensure minimum time required for from this a farmer can ensure a minimum time taken in feeding the animals. And one more criteria is that farmhouse and the animal house should not be placed in a prevailing wind direction such that the wind blows from animal housing to the farm housing, because whenever prevailing wind blows from an animal housing to the farmhouse, then the existing bad smell can be carried over, and it causes inconvenience for the humans residing at the farmhouse. So the care should be taken here. And another thing is, the milking house or milking parlor should be kept minimum of 6 meters away from the animal housing. This has to be done to ensure cleanliness and cross contamination in milking operation. And also the structures constructed should be having a suitable space for further future possible extension, because over a period of time a farmer might decide to extend his either animal house or else his farm residence or any other structures for that matter in his farm. So there should be plenty of room for having an extension of possible structures in the farm. So let's take a look at what are all the things should be taken care while having a size and arrangement of the farm. First is it should be 3 to 5% of the farm area. Next is residential building should be away from the animal housing. The residential building and animal housing should be built such that prevailing wind doesn't blow from animal housing to residential building. And silo pits and fodder storage should be near to animal housing. Milking house or milk parlor should be minimum 6 meters away from the animal house. And space should be provided for possible future extension of all farmstead. Now let's talk about planning of a farm residence. Farm residence is a place for farmer and his family to live upon, and this has been for planning this, certain criteria has to be followed. Each farm residence should have a place for dwelling, and all the activities carried at a house, such as social gathering, and it should have possible it should have adequate room for kitchen room and rooms, drawing rooms, verandas, and it should be a space such that the farmer is happy to live in and under peaceful conditions. For having a better advantage, uh, the farm residence should be located in such that either in north, south, or else eastern direction, so as to encash much of sunlight. In traditional villages, the the houses had defects, such as the houses were not constructed properly, and it didn't had proper waterproofing, and also the windows were too small and doors were small, and the animals were kept in and around the house, and also the surroundings were usually termed as a dumping yard. But in the modern farm residence, uh, there are farm residence, it is designed such a way that it has a bedroom which is the bedrooms which the number of bedrooms depends upon the number of people living in, and it has a kitchen which has equipped with chimney and also proper storage facilities. It has a kitchen garden, and proper toilets are provided in the house, and it has a veranda, living room, drawing room, and it should have a space in or outside the house for social gatherings, and it should have provision for biogas and slurry disposal, and it should have proper washing area, and it should also have storage space for agricultural machinery and tools. So now let's take a look at what are all the things considered for planning of a farm residence. It should be such that proper space, all the daily activities, and also ensure a better social life, and to provide higher living standards. It should be planned such that it could take maximum advantage of sunlight, thus construction towards north, south, or east is preferred. The disadvantage of traditional village house are not properly designed, and no waterproofing. Small kitchen with no proper provision to remove smoke. Small rooms, and also small windows, and animals were in and around the house only. And last is surroundings were treated as dump yards. So the modern farm residence should have the following: bedrooms depending upon the number of persons living, persons, kitchen well equipped with chimney, it should have a living room, veranda, it should have a toilet, both uh, which include the bathroom and lavatory, space either inside or outside the house for social gathering with proper enclosures. Biogas and slurry, there should be provision for biogas and slurry disposal, kitchen garden, storage space for agricultural tools and machinery. So keeping in these things in mind, the designs of a modern farmhouse has been made so as to ensure better social activity and also enhances a better standard of life. In general, for for the design of a farm residence, a bedroom should be of minimum of 3.6 into 3 meters, which can accommodate a single two beds of 1 into 2 meters, and a drawing room uh, should be and sorry bedroom, it should be 3.6 into 3 meters, which can accommodate two single beds of 1 into 2 meters, and care should be taken that the prevailing breeze is toward the prevailing breeze. The care should be taken such that it is located in a prevailing wind direction, so has to have a better uh, quality of air in the room, and also it should have a proper storage facility in the room. Next is a drawing room. Drawing room should be towards one end, and it should have an opening in front of a kitchen and bedroom. And usually drawing room have an area of 4.5 into 3.6 meters, and generally it can be increased in some cases for the and generally in cases it can be even higher by the preference of a person, and it might be from 6 into 4.5 meters, and in such cases, and the drawing room serves also the purpose of dining room. The kitchen should be equipped with a sink and also suitable storage spaces for utensils and other kitchen machinery, other kitchen items, and it should be equipped with a proper chimney to remove the smoke. The floor spacing may be from 9.3 to 14 square meter, and there should be a provision such that a window and door directly opens towards a kitchen garden. Storeroom should be near to the kitchen room, and the spacing might be 3.3 into 1.2 meters. Toilet should be having a space of 1.2 into 1.8 meter, and guest room, it should be 3.6 into 3 meters, and it should be provided with a attached toilet. If not, there should be a provision for easy accessible for the common toilet from the guest room, and it should ensure maximum it should ensure that the privacy is given to the guest, and it should be located near to veranda and far away from a kitchen. Floor and ceiling. High ceilings are preferred. High ceilings provide cooler high ceilings provide cooler situation under summer condition, but it also adds up for the cost. Initially, the floor initially for a single story building, the ceiling is kept at 3.3 meter above from the ground level, and in case of two story, it is the first ground story building is kept at a 3 meter height, and then the second first floor is kept at 2.7 meter height, and the floor in general the floor is made up of a single layer of gravel, um, and it is given a fine smooth finishing. Doors and windows. The doors and windows are made up of double leaf, and the size of doors for bedrooms and living rooms are 2.1 into zero point 0.9 meters, and for kitchen and toilets are 2 into 0.75 meters. And windows are generally kept 1.75 meters above the ground level, and it is of dimensions 1.2 into zero point 0.9 meters. And generally the windows are provided with steel rods of of 12 to 15 thickness, and which are placed 7.5 centimeters apart. And generally the doors and windows are provided with meshing arrangements, so as to prevent protect from mosquitoes and other flies entering in the house. The walls are generally the walls are made up of 20 meter 20 centimeter thickness, and in this case suitable columns are provided to support the system. If not, and 30 37.5 centimeter wall thickness is given, which can support this building, and as well as its own weight. Now let us take a look at what are all the aspects covered in design of a farm residence. Floor and ceiling. High ceiling in summer. But adapts to the cost. Generally single story. Generally in single story building, the ceiling is kept at 3.3 meter above the ground surface, and in the two-story building, the ground floor ceiling will be at 3 meter height, and the upper floor ceiling will be at 2.7 meter height. The floor is the ground floor. Will be of single layer of gravel, which will be plastered to have a smooth surface finish. Walls, a 20 centimeter thickness of wall can ensure better strength, provided with proper beams or columns. In general, 37.5 centimeter thickness wall thick 5 centimeter wall thickness ensures better stability, and also it balances its own weight. And also the construction materials such as bricks or else mortar, clay and limestone, and also the locally available materials plays a major important role in determining the cost economics. And the design of a farm residence is made according to this made according to the locally available materials and the cost economics and the initial cost of the materials and also the maintenance cost. So keeping all this in mind, a farm residence will be designed. Thank you.